Okay, Twitter is saying no to us. That's okay. We'll not stream on Twitter, but we stream everywhere else. Hello, everyone. Welcome, welcome, welcome to another live stream with Dr. Brinton. Today, we'll be talking about practical ways to keep the romance alive in your marriage. Why are we talking about this? Because a good marital health or a great relationship in your marriage will actually help you live better. So yes, we have conversations that help people live long and well. And so yes, we're having this conversation. If you are joining live, hashtag live. If you're joining replay, hashtag replay. If you know a friend that should be joining us now, then you could go ahead and tag them in the comment or share this with them. Without further ado, I would like to introduce my guest, Dr. Kome Osegale. She's a repeat guest. She's a repeat guest. She's an amazing human being, and I enjoyed our conversation last time we had to get her on here. Hi, Mr. Sean. Good to see you. Good to see you. So, Dr. Kome Osegale, I hope I did not butcher your name. Please
Come.
introduce yourself. Kome. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
so yeah, I am Komel Segale, a pediatrician and a certified relationship coach for physician wives who are struggling in their marriages. And I've been through a lot dealing with having to be a doctor, busy doctor, and trying to keep a thriving marriage. And I found the secret to keep a thriving marriage. And so I'm standing on the rooftop to tell every woman, every high achieving woman, every physician leader that you can have both your marriage and your career, but you just have to know how to walk that road. So, yeah.
I love it. We can have it all.
Yes, you
We can
can.
have it all,
But you just
but we
have to
gotta
have the
learn.
right skill. Correct.
We have the right skill. So,
Hmm.
doc, okay, so pediatrician, you did HIV care, I see as well. You didn't talk too much
Hmm.
about yourself.
I
This
mean, because
physician
I'm a
course.
repeat, yeah, I'm a repeat guest, so I thought, you have all the information about me, but yeah.
No, we don't. We
All
have the
right, so
information, but yeah,
okay,
go ahead.
so I yeah, I schooled in Nigeria, did my medical training in Nigeria, and immigrated here to the United States and trained as a pediatrician. I've been practiced for about 12 years now in the United States, but altogether about 25 years in medicine. And it's been a journey. I love medicine. I love kids. I love children, but I also love family life. And one of the things I found out is that, you can do all the best that you can to help children, but if the family life falling apart, right, it's not working for them. And that's what my experience was, right? I was doing all the great things as a doctor, saving lives, but my family was falling apart. And I'd realized that I didn't have the skills I needed to make my marriage work. I had all the skills as a physician, I had all the communication skills, and I brought those same skills to my marriage, and I realized that it didn't work. And so when I found what worked, and I transformed my marriage, I transformed my kids, I transformed all my relationships. And so that's why I'm here, just to share with women that you can have it all, but you just have to know the right skill to use
We
in the
have it.
situation. Yes.
I like it. That's the hashtag. We can have it all. There's a way. There's a how we're going to have these conversations.
Hmm.
But I know you talked about, I like how you use your own pain points to then empower people who are going to, from being a physician, taking care of HIV positive patients and all the things, transitioning to this. So
That
let's
was it.
talk.
That was it. It was in Nigeria, not
Yeah,
here.
yeah,
Yeah.
I
Okay.
know, I know. I
Okay.
understand that. But why is romance important? And what does that mean in the context of marriage? Is that something that you think lasts throughout marriage? Like what does it mean?
Okay. So romance is those little conversations that you'd like to have with the person you love most in the world. Those inside jokes, those things that make you really happy and makes your heart beat really fast, right? You know what it was like when you first met and your husband, when I met my husband, he just made my heart beat really fast. And I just wanted to spend all the time with him. We'll be on the phone for hours. We'll write each other notes. He sends me cards, he writes poems, you know and so those things that makes your heart just warm up when you see your man. And we had that. My husband pursued me. I love being pursued as a woman, and he loved being the pursuer. But as time went on, the relationship, as life happened, all that disappeared. And so, one of the things that, I noticed that for high achieving women and for female physicians, right, we give so much. We give to our patients, we give to our families, we give to our husbands, we give to everyone, but we don't give to ourselves. And romance needs energy to thrive, to happen, right? You need energy to give. Remember when you were and you didn't have any care in the world, so you just had all the time to give. But now you're an adult, now you have responsibility, you have the bills. It is hard. So this is what happens. We give so much. And I want to really acknowledge all the women out there who are working so hard, being a mom, being a wife, being a healer as a doctor, being a leader in your community. You juggle so much. But guess what happens? You are the last person you give something to. You don't give to yourself. And when you don't give to yourself, you know, it comes at a cost. It comes at a cost because you're exhausted. You're exhausted. And so when you show up upon, for example, when you come after a 10-hour shift or a call, that's the last thing you want to do is sit down and
Yep.
talk to your husband because you're exhausted, right? But you see, when you are that way, there is no energy to give to the relationship. And so that's why the romance suffers. For example, like I was so busy, I didn't have time. And my mindset was like, you know what? I had to fix this because I felt like my husband and I were like two sheep in the night, two sheep just going by themselves in the night. He was busy with work. I was busy. So in the morning, I'm rushing out. By the time I come back, he's late coming in the night. So it was like two sheep. And so the way I thought I could fix it was, all the experts say, book a date night, right? So I booked date night and put it on the schedule. It was like a schedule because my mind was thinking, we don't have enough time. And so I'm going to cram all this thing into this time. So guess what happened? We went for this date on a Friday night. I had a mental checklist in my head. All the bills we have to pay, all the decisions we have to make as a family. I had all the stuff. And then my husband and I were talking, and I had this list. And guess what happened? He just tuned me out. He just tuned me out. And so those Friday date nights became painful points. And then it just dropped off. I just didn't want to do it anymore because it wasn't working. Now, for some people, it works. But you see, when you don't have the right energy coming into those date nights, right, it doesn't work. So romance comes in those little moments that you share. But you have to have the right energy. And to be able to have that energy, you have to have self care. What is self care? What is self care? Self care is filling up your tank with energy, that some things that make you frivolously happy. And what I do with the women I work with, I teach them to incorporate it into their busy schedule. For example, maybe you work 12 hours shift, you're on call, but in those hours that you have, give yourself some time, maybe your break time, take time to go for a walk, smell the roses, walk, take some fresh air. And what that does, it resets your brain. It gives you energy that you're not just able to, you're giving to yourself, not just to other people, you're giving to yourself. And then what I do, instead of sitting in front of the lap in the computer and doing all the work all day, during my break time, I just take a walk out. And then not only that, I instead of eating by myself, I spend time talking to my friends, or I listen to podcasts, podcasts that are inspiring and not things that drain your energy away. All right. So those are the things you do. So I fix those times, and then weekends and other days I can schedule, self-care, like I'm going for my hair appointment. So it's not just about doing spas and all that. You can take a bike ride, but do things that make you frivolously happy. That's self-care. So when you do self care, you are giving to yourself. And so when you show up in your marriage, right, you are able to show up and be present in those little moments. And when your husband sees you, he feels the energy, not the exhausted negative energy, but the energy that he's feeling.
Dr. Gome, I have people listening who are like, which time, like, where are they going to find the time? I love how you mentioned doing it throughout the day instead of waiting for a
Mm-hmm.
set time. But
Mm-hmm.
are these things few minutes? Like, can we give context for someone who's like, no, in
Okay.
between then I can order groceries, I can call the babies, I can do the things, and they're feeling like, no, that's time I could do for something else. Why? Like, what are other what's the time commitment? Would you say someone who says they're too busy and they feel like this is too much pressure, like this is more work.
Okay. So those people who are busy and don't have self-care, guess what happens? Their marriage suffers. Their marriage suffers. And when you don't have self-care, your brain is at that place because there's this part of this brain, our brain, right? We have the saboteur part of our brain, that is the amygdala, that is all emotional and all that, right? When you don't have self, when you are exhausted, that part of the brain is on the driver's seat, and so everything looks dark and gloomy, and you don't show up with that energy that you need. And guess what? The disconnection comes in the marriage, right? But when you are busy and you have good self-care, guess what? The part of the brain that is stimulated is the sage part of the brain, your CEO part of your brain, that has creativity and brings playfulness to the marriage. And so you are able to invest. And what do I mean by self-care? Like I said, how do you do 2 minute sessions of standing in front of the mirror, brushing your hair, taking at least 10 minutes in the shower. Don't just rush into the shower and rush out. Stay in the shower and be present. Let the water run through your skin and feel it, right? Rub shea butter on your skin and feel that softness of your skin. So those are just little things that you can do. When you're drinking your coffee, take time to savor the coffee, right? Savor the coffee that you're doing. So those are little things, right? And then you can do 10 minutes things, 20 minutes things, but all these things you schedule it throughout the day. Now, I didn't used to do that, but when I did it, I found out that my time expanded. My time expanded. And so the woman who is busy but is committed to self-care gives her marriage opportunity to thrive.
Mm. All right,
And
I hear
gives
you, Dr.
romance, yes. And
I
gives
hear you,
romance,
Dr.
yes.
So we have to do these things because we want a healthy marriage. And
Correct.
so there's certain things that need to shift. And I love how you talk about intentionality throughout the day, where you're
Exactly.
being poured into, because you still have to pour when you get home. It's
Mm-hmm.
not a more pressure. It's not a more things. It's for you to adjust what you prioritize throughout the day. So maybe not doom
Exactly.
scrolling on social media, but actually doing
Mm-mm.
something that makes you feel better.
Exactly.
With patience, sometimes for me, taking a walk, sometimes, actually calling my husband to laugh about something during the
Yes.
day, something that pours into me so that when I get home, I'm able to still, knowing the importance of my relationship with my spouse, but I
Mm-hmm.
still need to be intentional, and the energy carries. It's
And
obvious
I'll
when it's,
and I'll
um,
give you this. I'll give you a simple example, right? I recognize that when I'm coming back from work, I'm tired. I'll run into the house. I'm trying to prepare stuff, trying to prepare dinner, but I am in this anger mode, right? And I'm yelling at the kids. I'm mad at my husband. If I see him like he's watching something, I get so crazy. And I realized that I wasn't being my best self. And so I had to ask myself, how do I feel? What do I want? I'm like, you know what? I think I really want a nap when I get home. And so I just told my husband my kids, like, I really would love to have a nap, at least a 30 minutes or 1 hour nap before I come join the family. And he said, okay. Now, one part of me is like, oh my gosh, you're not a good mom. You're not preparing food for your family. But like, you know what? I need to take care of myself. And I went to sleep. And guess what happened? They prepared dinner. And when they didn't prepare dinner, they ordered takeout. And when I came back, to join them at the dining table, I was feeling refreshed, not crazed in my head. I was able to listen and be present. And when they realized that having that 30 minutes nap, is good for me. So they tell me, Mommy, have you had your nap today? My
it
husband,
makes you
have you,
nicer. So you're like,
I'm,
yeah.
I'm nice, so
Oh
person to
my
be with.
goodness.
And so I gave that to myself. In the past, I'd have felt guilty. So don't feel that self-care is selfish. It's not. You are actually giving opportunity for your marriage to thrive. You're actually giving opportunity to show up dignified to your children. Guess what? Because you're also setting example for your daughters of how womanhood or wifehood should be. So be intentional.
I like that. Now, can we go to the gestures that go along with? Now, of course, everyone's relationship is different, and so there are
Mm-hmm.
gestures you discern that your spouse likes.
Mm-hmm.
But are there a few
Mm-hmm.
small gestures that can go along with keeping romance alive? Because that's what we're talking about.
Okay.
Daily or weekly. That's not
Mm-hmm.
too costly.
Yeah.
Stress.
All right. Simple, small gestures. A smile. There is power in a smile. You know, smile is a beauty cream that doesn't come in a jar. It is powerful. And guess what? If you are not rested, the smile is not genuine. But if you're really rested, it is attractive. And guess what? The energy is so attractive. Your husband wants to draw close to you. And for
I
those
like
of you who are single, right? You know how it is. You have this boss energy, you have the serious face, right? The guys are not attracted. But when you smile, it is inviting. It's like opening the door to romance. Okay, so that's one. So smile. The other thing is just saying thank you. Thank you for big things and small things. Thanking your husband for working and for making your life easier. Because if you do it all by yourself, it's going to be really hard taking care of the family. For example, let's say you are on call and he's at home watching the kids. Taking time to thank him is huge. It creates safety in the relationship. Writing love notes, right? When we were dating, right? Oh my God, we used to send each other notes a lot. Like he write me poems and all that. Just bringing those little things back is very important. Now, another thing that I think women we have a hard time doing is receiving compliments. Someone tells you, oh my God, your hair is beautiful. Say, oh yeah, I think I just need to go to the salon to get it fixed. Not receiving compliments, receiving help, no matter how it shows up. For example, if your husband helps you to wash the dishes, but he doesn't wash it the way you really like it, he doesn't put it in the in the dishwasher the way you like it, just receive it because it's a way that you're showing that you accept him, right? So receive compliments graciously, receive gifts graciously, and just smile. Those are simple ways that you can make life easier and make romance come in the marriage.
I like that. Receive help. It may
Mm-hmm.
not be the version 2.0, but you take the
Yeah,
version 1.0 and take
exactly.
it, say thank you. And receiving compliments. Don't blow it off like what you're saying. Like receive it, that's endearing. And I love number
Mhm.
one, the smile.
Smile is
Just
powerful.
when it comes in when you're like, wow.
And when you
Okay.
do that, right, you're signaling respect to your husband, you're signaling desire, and you're signaling that you want him. He will draw closer.
I like that. I like
Hmm.
that. Now, what are some common romantic? And this is, see, this conversation is not to make anyone feel bad or make it more work. It's more
Hmm.
intentionality. You will notice that these things are simple and free, essentially, that you can do. It's just the intentionality and the awareness. So,
Hmm.
I'm excited for us high power women who are doing the things, but still, keeping our homes intact. So this is good.
Hmm.
What are some common romance killers in marriage
No.
that couples, very important, that couples might not even realize? There's some that are pretty obvious,
Yeah.
but which ones are the ones that you see that couples may not even realize?
Okay. So I work exclusively with women. All right. So with wives. And the reason why I work with wives is because the perspective of what the wives bring to the home. Wives, you have so much power to change the culture in your home. You are the thermostat of your home. And not only that, God has given you the power of influence. That's the gift He has given you as a wife. You can influence your marriage to greater heights, to change, take it to a higher ground, right? Make it frivolously happy, bring peace to your home because you just have to know the skills to do that. Now, one of the greatest killers of romance is criticism, uh controlling behavior, and unexpressed gratitude. Now, what does criticism look like? So actually, when women we just love to help, like you're doctors, right? You want to help and you want to help fix your husband. For example, let's say you guys are going for a party and then he comes in with this dress and you look at, are you wearing that shirt to the party? You're wearing that shirt to the party? It sounds like an innocent question. That is critical in husband's language. In your mind as a wife, you just wanted to be helpful. You want him to show up properly, right? But in his understanding, you're criticizing because the subtext of that is like, can't you dress yourself properly? That is criticism. It's very subtle, right? Then the other thing, apart from criticism, you are controlling behaviors. Like you want to make sure that he gets permission to have things done. Like for example, my husband was going to buy our daughter a pair of shoes, right? I expected that he would buy the one with the lower price, but he went to buy the one with the highest price. I'm like, why did you not ask me first, that is very controlling. He's a capable man. If he wants to give his daughter something great, then he should, right? That's a controlling behavior that squashes intimacy. Unexpressed gratitude, right? Not showing gratitude for having a man in the house, having a husband who loves you. And the truth is that our husbands want to please us. Simply expressing gratitude. So one of the practices I usually teach the women that I coach is express 3 gratitudes a day. Look for them and express that. Gratitude brings, it bonds the husband and wife together. Now, one of the greatest, one of the worst things that a wife, does that, doesn't help the relationship is when she neglects her self-care. That is the biggest one. If you neglect your self-care, you are not giving your marriage a chance to thrive.
Wow.
Yes.
Wow. These are very powerful. I like the one on the controlling behavior. You think you're trying to save money for the family, but you're passing the wrong message.
Exactly.
For someone who's watching who's like, well, his shirt was ugly. I'm trying to help him, not shame
Yeah.
himself. Is there a way to reframe that? How would
So,
you like give
so you
feedback? You
No,
know,
no, you just relinquish inappropriate control. That's inappropriate control. He has a right to buy whatever he wants for the daughters, right? For the daughters, he has a right. And so just, hey, that is beautiful. Like you want the best gift for your daughter. So that's great. Look at instead of thinking a mindset, scarcity mindset, right? You want to take note of everything, release it. There's abundance, there's enough for everybody. So just encourage, like, wow, you thought of giving your daughter the best gift. That's amazing. That is gratitude, rather than going to that place of criticism, pinching pennies, and letting him get permission from you before he does that. That's controlling. And men, when men feel controlled, they withdraw.
hmm,
They
hmm,
withdraw.
hmm. What
Yeah.
about the shirt? It was the shirt I was alluding to as well. Like you want to give
Yeah, the shirt.
feedback, you
Aha.
know?
So this is another thing, right? This is something I teach the women that I coach, right? I'd rather my husband gets life lesson than wife lesson. When you when he gets wife lesson, guess what? It impacts the intimacy. But when he goes out and people tell him, "Oh my God, what kind of shirt?" Let him get it from people outside rather than from me. What I want to create is connection. What I want to create is
Wow.
a safe space for my husband, right? He's a capable man. He's been dressing himself before I came into the picture. So why do I think I want to come in with the mothering energy? Men are not attracted to their mothers, right? When you show up that way, you have a mothering energy and they're repelled.
Wow. That was ooh, I gotta chew on that one a little bit. Life lesson. We gotta pick our battles. There's some things we don't need to comment on
Yeah.
because of the bigger picture.
Yes.
The
Now
big
the thing is, this is huge, right? The women that you hang around with, right, influence you a lot. And if that's their language, you're gonna pick it up, you're gonna take it home. So that's why I teach my women that you gotta surround yourself with women who are wanting to make their marriage thrive, who are making intentional efforts. Because all around us, the culture really brings men down, trashes the men, especially like we're talking about women who are boss ladies and all that, right? And the culture teaches us to not express our femininity, because in a marriage there has to be gender difference. If two you come together in a marriage with masculine energy, both of you is going to repel. So come into the marriage with your feminine self, and that is attractive. I had to learn how to be feminine again. I didn't. I lost it along the way, so I had to learn that. Yeah.
I love that. Hang around
Mm.
women who encourage you to do better by your marriage because it's subtle. Then
Yeah.
you'll be surprised.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Time has already gone. My goodness, I
Oh
haven't
my
even
gosh,
asked half
we haven't
half,
we haven't gone through all the list you sent me.
half of the questions are not even. So next, how can couples communicate their romantic needs? This one I see quite a bit, where
Mm,
the wife is upset
mm,
because she wants the man to affirm and say some things and do the
mm-hmm.
things, but feels like, why should I have to ask? Or I don't want to sound needy. But how can couples communicate their romantic needs without sounding needy or getting defensive?
All right, so let me just say this. Do you remember when you were dating? Do you ask him to come look for you? Did you ask him to say all those words? No, because you were in a different energy, a receiving energy, you were rested and all that, right? So you were not complaining, you were not criticizing, you were admiring him. So when you go back to that, right, it's going to bring back the intimacy, it's going to bring back the romance. Now, when you make when you make demands in the relationship, like we haven't gone out in like months, we haven't gone for a romantic getaway, right? Or rather than come that way, you come with expressing your desires without expectation. Says, honey, I would love to have a dinner out, two for two, just like that, right? And that gives him space to be creative. That gives him time to think about what he wants to do to please you. But when you come and say, we haven't had, a date night in 12 weeks, that is demanding, that's needy. Now, when you do self-care, you actually pour into yourself so that you are centered. You don't really need him to make you happy. You make yourself happy. So when you're filled up and you show up, you're coming to pour, you're not coming to, because it's when you are so exhausted and depleted, that's when you get needy. That's when you go to that part of your brain where all the saboteurs show up, right? And you get, nasty and angry and fight. But when you're filled up, you come with that sage part of your brain that brings creativity, that brings curiosity, and enhances the romance in the marriage. So you don't have
I
to.
love
And when you tell a man, "Oh, you haven't taken me out in weeks," guess what happened? He gets defensive. He hears it as criticism, and he shows up defensive, and that doesn't help the intimacy at all.
No, it doesn't. No, it doesn't. Wow, Doc. One more question though.
Mm-hmm.
Um, w- for someone who's watching, who's like, okay, I get it, but you don't know my husband. He's difficult, and I don't know if this is gonna work. Um, what is one thing you say? I know you've said quite a bit, and a lot of things to
Mm-hmm.
it, a lot of powerful tools to implement. But what is
Mm-hmm.
one thing for that person? What do you want them to hear as we're speaking? Who for that person who feels like I've tried, you don't know my husband, he's you know difficult, and why should I be the one to do the work? And why should it always be, what are your thoughts, Doc? Any words of encouragement to challenge that woman that you can
Mm-hmm.
you can save your marriage?
Mm-hmm. I used to think that it's my husband's responsibility to make me happy. That is wrong. It's your duty to make yourself happy. It's your duty to pour into yourself. And so when you pour into yourself, guess what? That attraction, that thing that led your husband to come to you, it will come back. It is an energy that you show up with. It's the energy you show up with. So still going back to self-care, still going back to making yourself happy. That is one of the things I will leave any woman with. Is your responsibility to make yourself happy. Is your responsibility to do self-care, to create the connection and the romance that you want in your marriage, to attract your husband to you so that he doesn't even have to look at other women because he's got the right goods in the home that makes him feel like a king, right?
I love it. I love it.
Yeah.
And I like that you use, godly principles, because the truth
Yeah.
is, I'm glad. Well, I also, it's so interesting what you said.
Mm-hmm.
The day it hit me that my husband is not responsible for my happiness or my joy. He can contribute. He can,
Yeah, he
but he's
contributes to
not
it,
the
but it's
but
not the
he's
one.
not the one. He's not my joy. That's a God thing. That's different. And then
It
me
is.
doing the things and asking and receiving what I need. It was so liberating, and I think
Yeah.
I built our relationship to be better because the expectations were adjusted. Because otherwise, you're walking around angry, cranky.
Mm-hmm.
The
Mm-hmm.
principality is like, what's going on? But your energy is not good, and it's not a good temperature for the home
No,
to
it's
thrive in.
not. It's not.
Um, and
There's
and
something I would just want to say, right? There's a passage, 2 Corinthians 4, 7, that talks about that we are vessels, earthenware vessels in which the glory of God lives, right? So you are a vessel. And that's why I call my program the vessel program to help women become that vessel that gives, that radiates God's glory. And it starts with you filling yourself up. The joy of the Lord is your strength. When you fill yourself up, you're so attractive, so amazingly attractive. That is the key, really. That's the key.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. This was good. This was good. It's already 7 o'clock, Doc, and people are
Oh
like,
my goodness.
okay. So for those watching, be encouraged. Please share this with women in your world. The
Mm.
price and the price for a good marriage, it costs what it costs. And so that's why we're having these tough conversations. They do, they strip us somewhat of our ego and of the things we think we're doing right. They help us to adjust for a greater good, for a greater goal. And so I'm glad we had this again. We will have this again. I'll let you know when. So I asked
Yeah.
you live, so you can't say no because it'd be
Oh, I
awkward.
love to come back. I love to give of what I've been given because I really want marriages to thrive, and because it not only impacts the woman, it's the most important thing after God. It's the most important thing, and it impacts the children so much because when you give your children the home court advantage of two-parent home, it's amazing what they are able to do. Yeah.
I concur. I concur. So, Doc, where can
Yeah.
people find you? Where can people find you? For those who are wondering, how can I connect with this doctor? I want
All
to know
right.
more
You find me on
about her.
Facebook. Facebook. My website is www.thrivingwives.com. And you can find me on Facebook, thriving_wives. You find that there. And that's on Instagram. I'm sorry, Instagram, thriving_wives. And you'll also find me on Facebook as Komel Segale. Yeah, those are the places I'm at.
Okay, so I'm putting her
Mm,
information. We have the website showing now on the screen,
mm.
Instagram, at Thriving Wise, Facebook, and LinkedIn. And
Yeah, I'm
then
not on LinkedIn yet. I'm not
you
a
know,
tribal wives on LinkedIn yet, but I'm on LinkedIn. Yeah, as
we can
professional as
follow
my
you there.
yeah.
We can
All
follow
right.
you there, follow you everywhere.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Doc. You've poured a lot. I learned things that I'm going to implement today. God helping me, I'm going to implement today because hey, we're in this together, right? We're all
Yeah, we're in
trying to
this together.
make our
Yeah.
marriages better. I appreciate you spending your evening with us to pour. I appreciate you. I pray God bless you and strengthen you
It's
to
so
keep doing
short.
what you've been doing. I know the
It's so
30 minutes
short.
is
The
30
time just goes
minutes.
so fast. Like we're enjoying ourselves so much. Yeah.
It went by quickly.
It
And
did.
thank you to our viewers. Miss Helene Casas de Leon, thank you. Dr. Stanley, I appreciate you showing up. Berna, you rock. And to the rest of you watching that I can't see, I appreciate you. Please share. Promise you share to 10 people in your world. Let's add more value and more good
Hmm.
quality content to help you improve and upgrade homes. As always, if you or anyone you know is looking for an awesome, a thorough, and compassionate family physician that will have conversations, even on marriage, to help you live long and well, you know it. I am she. Have a good one, everyone. Thank you so much, Doc. I appreciate you.
Take care.